Alright, we are back with another episode of creating a village simulator. It's been going pretty well. Last two episodes, I was redoing the AI system to where we are no longer using the goal-oriented action plans. That was just kind of going a little bit too slow, or maybe how I did it, and I couldn't really get it optimized, so I kind of scrapped it all. I didn't quite scrap it all, but I scrapped the creating the plan part of it, and instead tasks are being created, kind of like how I originally was making it at the very beginning of this series. And I just decided to go with these tasks that are being created either by the user or the AI can make it as well, and that is working much better. We don't have so much of an issue with the number of villagers. I kind of tested, I think I might have tested it in the last episode of doing like 500. So then off screen, I just went back through and added all the different actions that we had before. There's still a few that I need to add. One is like going to work. I'm still trying to think about how do I want the how does it pick the agent to go to work, who gets to work at that job. So I'm still trying to think about how I want to do that, but maybe I'll just show you a few. I got two of these things open. Maybe I'll just show off a little bit. Let's see. So I've already showed you this of our task. I create this function here called find idle agent, and then we have this one called set action plan, where it takes the plan, it takes the script, sorry, not the text here, compares it, and then adds that action to the plan. And we're still using a plan, but we're actually creating those plans, the tasks that we make, create them. Let's look at some of those tasks. The trickiest one, because some of these were kind of straightforward, like sleeping task, it just, nothing a whole lot here. Just add the sleep on ground action, and I don't need, I'm going to change this name because I don't need a sleep on ground and sleep in house, because really it's just a sleep action. It's just the target is different, that's all. So that's that. But the trickiest one, I would say, was resources to blueprint. Alright, so right now all the actions just have one action plan. There's not like more than one, and then it decides which one to use. Because I think before, the villager could maybe take a resource from the ground or take a resource from the storage, but now it only looks for the storage. And then it takes the resource, so it does two actions here. One is to take resource from storage action, and one is take resource then to the blueprint. And then it, I kind of just, let's see, set targets. One of the things it does now is it has a new boolean here, say is all targets. So this is true or false if neither of the targets were null. In this case, it's really just checking this one right here, finding a storage item for the first action. So this is the first action, the storage action, and it's going to find a target for that first one. And yeah, really this could probably be first. One thing we want to do is clear our targets before we start. So yeah, so it's looking for a storage. If it finds one that says, hey, we have all targets are true, if it doesn't, we're going to say false, because it couldn't find one. That way the task is still created, it's still in the queue of tasks that need to be done, It's just that it doesn't have the target yet. So if I go to the task manager, one thing I added was, let's see, let's find the idle agent. All right, I think right here. So we're going to grab the very first task in our user task here. And if that task has all of its targets, then go, if it does not have all of its targets, let's check to see if we can get the targets now. So let's say I create a blueprint and I don't have the resources available yet. Well, I wanted to make the task, but just skip it if it doesn't have those targets yet. And that's pretty much what this is doing. It's going to dequeue it, and we're going to put it in a temp task when we dequeue it, and then we put it back in, and we back into the queue at the bottom. All right, so just taking that one off the top and putting it on the bottom of the queue if we don't have all the targets for it. All right, if we do, then we just do the rest of the stuff like before. All right, so that's what this is doing now. It's checking, because again, it could be that there's no stone or something in the storehouse, and we needed that stone. But yeah, but now what it really does too is, before my take resources to blueprint, it used to find all of the, what would it do? It kind of did it in a way where the AI agent would just keep going to the resource and getting all the resources and putting them into the blueprint. Well, now what it does is, and it would actually check, I think it would check to see if there were all the resources available at the time. Well, what it does now is, whenever the blueprint is created, let's see, maybe I put that in the click detector. That's the build. So it's actually in here. Let me go to the definition. So here, blah, blah. All right, right here. This is actually, yeah, create task for each build resource. So now it loops through all the resources that are required, and actually all the amounts, because right now our villagers can only carry one thing at a time. So it creates all of the resources and loops through all the amounts of it, and it will create a separate task for each one. And so then that it puts in the queue. So it doesn't need we don't need to worry about whether or not we have them all or not. It just creates a new task. So in this case, it's creating a task that uses this as its resource. And so I needed to, if I go here to this definition, we needed a new target string resource, and then we're also going to keep track of what item in our storage unit that we need. So it does that, and yeah, so that's what this is doing. All right, and so in our find storage with item, we're kind of doing the same thing as before, and we're going to check if the item we're looking at, we look through each storage unit, basically based on the map section that we're in, and if the item it's currently looking at is the same as this one. Get item from string. Okay, so I have a function here that I was using before where here's my string, and if we have an item with that string that's not task, I probably could put that in there, but then if it is task, this probably is not good. I probably need to change this. Put this inside here, because actually, let me go to this one really quick. I wasn't planning on doing this in this video because we want to work on some other stuff. Look through all of them. If this item name is, oh, I do have it. So I'm like double checking it just to make sure. Because we still want to say like, you know, this store, like this AI agent wants to go get this, you know, wood here, and we have to flag it so that no other agents will go get that one as well. Okay, so that's that, and that is working pretty well. So most of the other tasks, like I said, were pretty straightforward. Like the eat task. Well, the eat task kind of does the same thing as the take resource from storage. So now they're not picking things up off the ground to eat. I don't know if they were doing that before. Now, I'm doing a lot of copy and pasting. But some of that is because this right here, you know, I know that that's food. I probably could put this right here, find storage with item. I could probably make this a function in maybe the map manager, and then just send it this. So I could probably do that, and it would return a game object. So maybe I'll do that off camera. So yeah, so off camera, I've been doing quite a bit, trying to get back to where we were. We also have the building task, which I think was pretty straightforward as well. This will happen. It will create a task after the blueprint has all of its resources. Once the blueprint has all of its resources, it creates a build task for that building. And then once it's in the task, we just have to set the target of that particular blueprint. All right, so yeah, it's working pretty well. I'm still trying to think about how to do the go to work task. I mean, the task itself is actually pretty easy. You know, you just set the target to that, whatever that work job is. My thing is, I'm not sure how I want to determine who gets to work at that farm. Before what was happening is any AI agent would just go in and work there, and then when it was done, maybe another agent would come and work there as well. I don't really want to do it that way. I want to be like, hey, this agent works at this farm every day. That's their job. So how that happens, it might be just like how we set the homes, like as soon as the building gets built, if it's a job, if it's one where agent can be worked at, it will find idle agents to be the new. And it actually doesn't really need to find an idle agent. Maybe we could just find any agent that doesn't have a job or working at a job. I do think it needs to be a little bit more complex than that. So that's why I'm kind of holding off a little bit on it. But yeah, that's how it probably is going to work. So anyways, we started doing all of this change because we were having issues of it going really slow. And that was in the episode where I was trying to start getting the agents to go and talk to someone, right? We wanted to do, their socialization was getting down, or their social skill was getting down, I guess it's a skill or whatever we want to call it, or their need to talk or to be with someone else was going down. And what it was doing is it was at least the way I had it before. I wonder if I still have it here. Maybe it's under here. Sensors. Under our sensors, here's our village sensor. So what I was doing before is if it's not chatting, we return, blah, blah, blah. So we're sending a raycast, a circle raycast, and it's just looping through everything that's hitting. Well, that's not really efficient at all. Matter of fact, that's pretty terrible because you know it could be 100 items, and let's say all those items, if said, this is checking if it's a villager. So let's say it goes through 100 items and hey, none of them are villagers. They're all trees. All right. Or even if they were all villagers, it would return the first one, but it still has to do all this to check and then return it, and then and then if you have 500 characters and they're all bunched together, they're all checking to see if they need to talk to each other and looping through each other all the time. So I have two ideas of how I could do this, and I might test out one way first and see how it goes. Let's go to our scripts. Actually, let's go to our prefabs and go to test agent. So if I look at my test agent, I have a box collider circle. Let's see. We're going to create an empty game object. And let's call it, I don't know. Whoops, maybe village, or maybe just, I don't want to call it sensor, but yeah, whatever. Let's just call it sensor. And on the sensor, I'm going to add a circle collider 2D. Actually, does it need to be a circle? Well, let's just do a box. It's probably more efficient to do a box collider 2D, I'm assuming. All right, so here's our box. Let's make this 10 by 10. Maybe 5 by 5. Okay, it's a very, very small sensor. And so I'm going to use Unity's, let's see, Unity's, I could put this in the, I could make this a separate script, or I could put it in the AI agent. I think I'll put this in the agent. So let me go to, or can I? Let me just go to the agent and just see real quick. Yeah, I think I can. So now this thing's giving me some errors sometimes. I've noticed it like says that this is missing, like a missing reference here, and it's like, wait a second, it didn't even call that function at all. I don't know if Unity checks it every time or something. I don't know, but anyways, let's do on collision 2D. Oh, you know what though? How am I going to do this? On collision enter on trigger. I think it's going to be a trigger. Let me go back to this. Now, is trigger. Does my agent even have a rigid body? Let me see how that works. I try not to use those things, so I think we're fine. Since I don't use rigid bodies, if it had a rigid body and these two box colliders were hitting each other, it would make the agent stop because it would be colliding with it. But because there's no rigid body, I'm not using those physics at all. So good. That's actually good, because if this was a trigger, I think triggers can't trigger triggers, which is just so weird. Like that, I'm pretty sure. Here, but we'll test it out. I'm going to change it to a trigger. We'll just say debug.log. We'll say collision.name. So let's see what we hit with our agent. Let's see what it's hitting. It will probably hit gather. Alright, it's hitting the trees. Let me click here. Let's see if it hits anything. No, you see it never hit. It never said agent here. This is coming from that. Let's see. Let's speed it up, see if it hits it. Alright, so we didn't get that at all. And I think because this is a trigger. Now if I turn that off and I go here and change this to on collision, 2D enter. Let's do this. Let's see if we get that now. So again, I'm just going to test this out and see if we can. Oh, we got a compiling error. Okay. Isn't this the weirdest thing? This says collider 2, oh, collider 2D, collision 2D. Yeah, so that's different. You have to do collision dot collider dot name. Okay. I think they should, you see how this says collider Unity when they automatically make this for you? And it says collider 2D. They shouldn't call this collision. They should call it collider. You know? Anyways. Because it's collider here. You know, here's the collider. Anyways. Did I save it? Yep, I did. Alright, here we go. Let's see what happens. Now, it's not going to trigger this now because when these two things get created, the enter 2D thing does not activate. Alright, so we got the tree, but this is not from colliding with it. Alright, so here's the problem. This collider here is on our sensor and it's not on our target. So we do need a script. Let's go to our scripts. How do I want to do this? You know, I have this sensor, villager sensor. Well, let's just steal this. And let's get rid of this AI sensor thing. Let's get rid of all this. Okay. We're going to say on, we need a model behavior here. Model behavior. We're going to say on, and let's go back to our AI agent. Let's delete these. I'll just grab this really quick. Let me delete these. And then come back to the sensor, add that. Let's go to here. On the sensor, we'll add that script called the villager sensor script. Okay. So let's gather. Nothing so far. Let's gather with that one. See if we can get this collision. Okay, it's kind of odd. See? You see this error? Missing reference exception. The object of type game object has been destroyed. But if you're still trying to access it, your script should either check if it's null or you should not destroy the object. So I get those errors, which is weird. And all right, so what's happening here? On collision 2D. This is saved. We have the sensor. It's not a trigger. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me now. Collision trigger on enter. It's not a trigger. Let's change it to a trigger. And let's see what happens. On trigger, enter 2D. We'll say collider. We'll just copy this, paste it in, change it to collider. Okay, I mean change it to collision. So again, they should have just called it collider. And maybe they have a reason for that. Let me just pause it for a sec. Let me go to our test agents. It's my sensor. Okay, we still are not getting this to trigger. What is the deal? Oh, and we're missing it again. Every time I stop it, I guess maybe it's destroying the object, but it destroyed the map manager first. It's just kind of weird. Anyways, we'll worry about that later. Villager sensor. Let's go to the prefabs. This should not be a problem. I don't, it's like, it's just work right now, what I'm trying to do. Why is it not working? Doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe this is why I don't use the Unity stuff. Or, well, I have them both. Does this need to be public? I think Unity automatically set it for me. I don't think that needs to be public, but can we gather this? Nope, we're not. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Why would this be so difficult? Does it have to have a rigid body in order for it to detect collision? Like, colliders can't collide. Isn't it that's what it's looking for? Really, Unity? That's what you do with these triggers? That's annoying. Like, you have to have a rigid body. I don't want to use a rigid body. I just want to use your box colliders. Is that how it works? Like, you have to have a rigid body in order for this function, for you to access this function? That doesn't make any sense. I'm using box colliders for the clicking. When you click, it sends a raycast. You have to have a box collider for it to detect it. But then this one, we'll just test it. That would be so stupid. Nope, we're still not getting it. Hmm. Hmm. Pause it for a sec. Let me see the test villager. Sorry, let me go to here. I do not want to waste my time messing with this in a video. Because what a boring video this will be. I thought I would have like one episode of this. Maybe I should have researched a little bit. Alright, kinematic. Let's change this to kinematic. Now let's see what happens. Yeah, now it's doing it. Golly, are you kidding me? That's so dumb. Well, gosh, I really don't want to have a rigid body on it. See, now it's working, and I guess because why is it on this rigid body? This rigid body, collision detection, discrete, or you could do continuous. Probably discrete would make it run a little bit faster, and we don't really probably need it continuous. But yeah. Okay, why can't Unity just have a box collider that just works with box colliders? Like you don't need this rigid body extra component with it too. I don't think so. Just give me a box collider that checks if it interacts with another box collider. And that's it. Why use rigid bodies? Alright, well, let's just keep testing this out. So we could, and let's test this out now. See, I think if I change this to a trigger, all right, let's see if we ever get the agent. Go gather that, go gather that. And it does not look like I am getting anything now. See? So it has to be a actual box collider. Okay, fine. Maybe this is not how we want to do it. So we're not using a trigger, we're using a collision enter 2D. We're getting the collider name. So if collider, I gotta do collision dot collider dot tag is equal to villager. Now what would be neat, let's see, if it equals to villager, let's just do this for now, and then maybe we'll call it we're done. Let's do AI agent dot collision, or should I call it collider? Which one? Gosh, I'll just say collision agent. the one we collide with. Oh my gosh, let's just change it to collision, collider, collision. This is probably what Unity was going through, like which one should we call it? Because we're colliding with a collision. I don't know. Collision agent is equal to the collision dot collider dot can we say get component? Get component. Get component AI agent. All right. Do I have to say like get component and parent? I don't know if that's even a thing. Okay. Because this collider is on the sensor, and so you know we don't really need this right now. We're going to just test this. We're going to have a public. We don't really need public. We just say serialized field AI agent. AI agent. And we'll set that in the Unity thing, and we'll say AI agent dot soulmate no dot stat controller dot, let's see if I can figure this out, stat character stats dot stats, and which stat do we want? Why is it doing that? Character stats dot stat type dot dot social dot increase rate is equal to, let's just say 100. Okay, so the question is, you know what, we could actually do this. All right, we're going to get this collision, and we're going to say AI agent. We're going to set it up here. Collision agent. All right, do that, and then this will equal collision. We want to get rid of this, so we're going to set it now. On collision exit 2D. So if, let's just copy this really quick. If it's a villager, collision agent, if we're going to say, let's say new AI agent, new agent, oh no, sorry, new agent. Here, maybe we call this target agent. Let's call this target agent. And target. And then down here, we'll say collision agent, all right. And then we'll get this, and then we're going to say if collision agent is equal to our target agent. So this is the one that has just left our sensor. And we are going to turn off this, make this 0. All right, let's cross our fingers, hope this works. Let's see if we actually have that tag called villager. We do. All right, and this is untagged, so we need to make sure that this one also says villager. All right, so let's see if this works. It's not going to work yet because we need to attach ourself to it. I do say get. Oh no, I don't. Okay, let's just test this out. Let me go gather far away. Okay, let me click on you. And let me pause it. It might be hard to see. Where's my social? Alright, social's at 98. Okay, so he's walking there. His social's not terrible, but you know, we're just doing it, you know. We're going to see when we enter this one whether it starts to increase. Actually, let's do it now. I'm going to click here and see them walk by each other. And let's see if we get an increase in our social. No, we didn't. Okay. Okay, and we're of course missing a game object because we want to destroy it every time we want to stop playing it. Blah 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 blah. All right, let's change this increase rate to 1. And see what that does. Do I need like another? Do I have something else that needs to? Let's go gather. Let's see if I can click on him. Yeah, I got him. All right, let's go. Let's go gather with this guy. Maybe, or gather here. Come on, click it. I need to figure out how to do the clicking of these trees to where it can also detect the one behind it. Or actually, that one was. No, I didn't see anything. Let's just make sure that this is working. Debug .blog. Talking. Yay. And then here we'll say debug.log. Not talking to you no more. All right, save that. It could be that I'm just not doing that increase rate thing correctly because I don't really know my own program very well. All right, you go over there, click you, and then I'm going to do this. Come on, go gather over there. Let's see if we get this talking. All right, we do not. Let's pause it for a sec. Let's go to our sensors. I guess I can't really check anything. I'm not getting any errors. Collision tag. The tag is villager. Alright, well, maybe this isn't correct. Well, this isn't even. Alright, did I not set something right here? I thought we were getting this trigger stuff right. Let me stop playing it. Oh look, I left out on trigger. Oh no, that's. Let me go to the sensor. It's not that. Oh, I forgot to change it back to that dum-dum. All right, now let's see. Go gather down here. Click there and click that. All right, so our social's at 98, 97. Man, what the heck? Wasn't this working before? Yeah, this is fun, just going back and forth through our things. Maybe this was a bad idea. Maybe I shouldn't do these collision things. It's kind of annoying that those things don't work. I think they're eating right now. I don't know what they're doing. Sleep. They were probably sleeping. Are we not getting... What did I do differently? It's getting frustrating. Because I still have this deep... Whoops. Come on, where's that sensor, villager sensor? I still have this debug, and now I'm not seeing it anymore. Come on. This video's going way longer than it should, because these stupid colliders don't work, or they're just very finicky. They're just very, very finicky, and things have to be like specifically correct in order for them to trigger. It's like, no, just create a trigger that triggers, and you don't have to have all this other extra nonsense with it, like rigid bodies. It doesn't need those. I know you want it all to be part of the same physics engine, but you could have something that's separate that checks collision of colliders. Maybe that's why you couldn't figure out what to name it. You named everything a collision. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Why does this not work now? What am I doing differently? We have this. We're not calling it a trigger. We have this. So if you do dynamic, they'll start falling. Watch. Or something's falling. I'm sure that sensor is falling. Let's see. Let's go to the sensor. See where it's at. Let's see. Does it fall? What the heck? Oh, I didn't switch it. Let's change it. Let's see if I change it to dynamic. We'll see the sensor falling on somebody. Yay, there it goes. Yeah, let's just have fun here. Their rules for what collides and how collision works is just ridiculous. It's just... Oh, wait. What the heck? What? We were not getting this before, or did I just not see it? Okay, I guess it is working. What in the world? Was I just blind previously? See, not talking anymore. I'm talking. Here, let me clear it. I'm just clear. Stop. Clear. Gather over here. I need an icon that lets me know when I'm... Alright, so I'm doing that. Go over here. Let's just see. Let me go on to my test agent. Why does it have to zoom all the way out like that? Alright, this is this one. You know what I need to do is, it's so hard to see, I cannot see this. Where the heck is this sensor? Whoops. It's working now because these two sensors are falling. These two sensors were falling. See, that's why that was working. You have to have one has to be dynamic. See, this is dumb. Like, you have this system of collision, and you're making me waste a whole episode to where it's like, oh, I can't do this. Because you have tied it so much with your rigid body system. Two kinematic colliders can't collide with each other. Why not? Oh, because it's detecting the motion of it, of the rigid bodies detects the motion. The movement of the rigid body is what causes triggers, and that's when it's updating. So I am going to end the episode here. I will still post this. You could skip it if, well, I mean, if you're watching it up to this point, you're not skipping it, but at least I did go over kind of how to do the colliders. But I'm going to end this episode. I mean, not colliders, sorry, go over the task manager. I'm going to end the episode. I thought this would work. I thought colliders could just collide with each other. I've worked with colliders before. I worked with rigid bodies before. And it's always the same thing. Like they just don't want to work together. You have to. They're so, ugh. You know, like why can't just colliders collide with each other, regardless of whether there's. Like I guess because colliders aren't detecting, like they have an X and a Y. They're not detecting movement, a change in their X and Y. I guess I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand Unity. I guess this doesn't. It has its own system with this rigid body. All right. Well, that's that. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. In the next episode, we will probably continue to work on the socializing thing, but I'm going to have to do it without these colliders and think about it for a little bit. All right. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.